My name's Adele Onyango and welcome to another episode of Legally Clueless. No, seriously, I have no clue what I'm doing, but I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. Hey you, welcome to episode 108 of Legally Clueless. Thanks for being part of the podcast fam. If this is your first time listening to the podcast, new episodes go out every single Monday and you can join our online fam on Instagram at Legally Clueless Podcast and on Twitter, just use the hashtag Legally Clueless. Hashtag because it's easier for me to eavesdrop on your tweets that way. No shame. However, coming up in this episode is a story by Amos. Listen to this.
I ended up inciting my crew. I'm the youngest one, but I have a crew of big boys. We want to teach this teacher a lesson. So we planned. She used to stay with teacher's quarters. So he was a drunkard, and this teacher had a septic wound. Even akikuja class, there was some sort of smell. We will go home, we dress up, and then we come back to wait for him. We came back, we waited for him near the gate, entrance to the school. So he's coming back. So within a few minutes, he's there coming, staggering. We teach the teacher a lesson with Uri too, but unfortunately, she captured one of us.
So you beat him?
Yeah, we beat him thoroughly. Ile serious. So, and that time we have worn these Marvins. There was this Marvin of Manchester. Zilikuwa zimefika. So everybody has a Marvin. So when we were beating the teacher, one of our friends disclosed himself. So he realized.
His story is going to be coming up a little later in the episode and I'll tell you more about it later, but I really hope that you're taking care of yourself and that you are persevering through this weird pandemic. Gee, I don't know what wave your country is on, but we being Kenya, are on or in the third wave. So I go through moments of knowing exactly what I need to do to be safe, and then moments where I'm like, is it even enough, Like, how can I do all of these things and still manage to get work done? Anyway, another thing I want to share though, depending on when you're going to listen to this, and I really hope I don't chicken out of doing this, is on the 9th of April, we launch the Legally Clueless video series. So similar to the 100th episode special, different storytellers will be sharing their stories in front of the camera. And so I'm really trying not to chicken out of it. We've already shot a couple of episodes, which went swimmingly well. Right now we're in post, so editing is happening and all of that. And Friday, the first episode should go out if your girl here does not chicken out and talk herself out of it, which I just hope I do not. So the video episodes will go up on YouTube. There is a special new Legally Clueless YouTube page, which I will put a link to in the description of this episode. And why I'm going to do that is because I've procrastinated even opening that YouTube channel, because I'm like, once I do that, it means it's real, it's happening. So I'm going to have to do it because I have to put a link to that page in the description of this episode. So they'll go out on YouTube, they'll go out on Instagram and on Facebook. It's such a huge new development and a huge new step for the podcast. So first, I'm very thankful because this would not be possible without your support, you being part of the tribe and listening every week. Secondly, I'm excited, but as excitement comes like nerves and just wondering, will I manage to be as consistent? But a good friend of mine keeps telling me, why do you focus on worrying about those things? Why not put the energy into actually ensuring that you're consistent, into enjoying the process? So I'm going to do that. April 9th, episode 1 goes out. I will try very hard not to talk myself out of doing it. Head over to the YouTube page, subscribe, turn on the notifications so that when that first episode goes out, you don't miss it. Oh my God, that's such a huge step. I'm so excited. Oh my God, I can't believe we're doing this. Anyway, back to my week. Oh yes, the one thing I wanted to share that I'm trying to navigate is as a sole entrepreneur. One of the things that I find hard to navigate is like giving myself space as a human being to navigate the feelings I'm going through, be it, well, in this situation, like grief, feelings around my mom, and still getting work done. I don't know if I've shared this before. Like, I really hate that work still demands that you do work, even on the days that you're not 100% able to. And especially when you are running things by yourself, there's no one else to delegate to. So, for example, this past week, somebody reached out to me and they wanted like a proposal on some particular thing. And I think I responded, like I had set a deadline to send that to them, let's say on Thursday. And I just couldn't. I can't explain it to you. I just was so overwhelmed with certain thoughts, so overwhelmed with like navigating my feelings that I did not have the energy to get up, turn on my laptop and send this thing or like work on the document and send it. So I sent it like 2 days later than I said I would. And I felt really bad about that. But my body just was not hearing. It wasn't listening. It was, And so there is a reality of wanting your body to just feel and allow it to feel whatever emotions it's going through. But then there's also the reality of, hey sis, you're running a business. So you have to do certain things at a certain time for things to run efficiently. That is weird or hard. And then when you do fail and miss out on a deadline, how do you treat yourself kindly? Because the words that I use on myself when I miss those deadlines is even quite shocking. To me, I'm just like, hey, can you calm down? So those are kind of like the emotions I'm trying to navigate. And if it's something that you're making headway with, I would appreciate if you send any reading resources or like exercises that you think I should do or that have worked for you. I'm also happy about getting featured, which is so wild for me because I remember I think in 2019, at the beginning of the year. So what I do at the beginning of the year is like set goals for myself. So there's like personal goals and then there's like career objectives and goals. And I go back. Well, I'm meant to be going back to them every quarter, but sometimes after 6 months is when I'm like, hiya, are we still on track? Anyway, so beginning of 2019, which was when I was starting this podcast, I did say that one of the things that I wanted to do or to achieve is to be at the forefront of new media in Africa. Now, at the time I was coining this sentence. I didn't even know, really understand podcasting or the intricacies of it, but I was just like, I have a feeling that this right here is going to be something full of so much impact for different communities, yes, my country, yes, but also continentally. So as much as I may not understand it, I want to be at the forefront of understanding it and then breaking it down such that it serves Africans in multiple powerful ways. And it just hit me that that goal is kind of coming to be because so this week I got featured on Vice, which was so fantastic. It was a piece about African podcasters using storytelling to kind of take back power over our African narrative, which is fantastic. I've put a link to that particular piece in the description of this episode. And then I was also featured on CNN's Inside Africa alongside other African podcasters and different people in the podcasting industry. And again, the piece was talking about just how podcasting is on the rise and is helping us get agency over our voices and our stories. So that was really like, how does that happen in 1 week? Okay, obviously I had done the interviews. Let me not say it. How does that happen? But I remember even when I received the calls from the respective reporters and journalists for those two pieces, I received those calls on the same day. And it was right after we had published the 100th episode special on YouTube. And then in 1 day, I get a call from Vice, I get a call from CNN Africa, which was so great. So anyway, there is power in speaking out or writing down whatever your goal is. And at the time when you're writing it, it might seem like this is never going to come to be. It's absolutely wild, but I don't think anything is impossible. Okay, let's jump into the song of the week, which I'm not sure if I've shared this song before, but I'm really feeling it this morning. I feel like it's the mood I'm going into this week with. It's by Jamila Woods, of course. I may have a slight crush on this woman. Slight. Not so slight. Like mega crush. Her music is just so good. It's so good. It's so healing. Anyway, so the song is, as I get lost in my crush, the song is Bubbles. And why I'm like, this is my mood this week, is there's a line that says, "You can't bust my bubble, buster." And that's kind of like the mood that I want to go in. I'm having a good day energy-wise after a series of really bad days. So I'm just hoping, okay, not hoping, I am saying and stating that nothing is going to bust my bubble this week. And yes, shit may happen, but I'm going to like hold on to this bubble. Does that make sense? Anyway, check out the song. I've put a link to it in the description of this episode. Okay, on 100 African stories, Amos is sharing his story. And honestly, when you listen to the story, you might be like, oh my God, it's made up of so many little pieces. Some of them actually do not get resolved, as many things we experience in our lives don't. You know what I mean? Like there are things that it just ends that way. No happy ending, no resolution, right? But for me, my takeaway was like, why don't we give kids the space to experience emotions as the normal beings they are? Why don't we meet them where they are? 100 African stories on Legally Clueless. Stories from Africa.
Okay, I'm Rugut Amos. I come from Trans-Nzoia County. When I was in standard 3 and this family of 5 with a single mother, I had a aunt who was in Eldoret, and she had a son was sick, older than me, but she was sick. And now they had to make some changes so that we have someone to go and help us there. So I have a big brother and me. So the debate starts, who is going to Eldoret and who is staying within. So we argued, and I was like, I don't want to leave my home. To an extent, they say a decision should be made by your grandmother, because she's the one who knows you better. And she, in a few days, she came with I don't know, it was a silly reason, that because you're healthy, and the environment at Eldoret is somehow cold, you're the one to go there, you know. And I was like, no, I'm young. But by the end of the day, I found myself at Eldoret. I transferred the school. I went there, and I started schooling in between. It was the second term. So I go to this school where everybody is talking Kalenjin. You know, me, I'm from Trans-Nzoia. Everybody is Kiswahili. So I'm used to Kiswahili. These guys are talking Kalenjin, even in class. So hey, how will I survive here? Anyway, I'm a Kalenjin. I adapted, but I was so strange to them. To an extent, they're like, this guy is a Luya, but he knows some part of Kiswahili. So I joined that school, and it was a bit distant, so I had to wake up early and go there. When I was almost the first 3 months, the son to my aunt passed, and it pained me because she had a lot of stories about me, and she used to tell me, Nikipona, I'll show you your dad. Like, this guy was telling me. So I was eagerly waiting for him to recover so that he can show me something which it is hidden to me. I'm in darkness. So she passed, and it pained me because she went with an information that I wanted to get. So when she passed on, my aunt started now behaving weird on me. You know, like, you want to replace that pain of a son to me. So weird. I go to school. I come back at lunchtime. I check the kitchen. There's no signs of organizing for a meal. So I take a cup of water and go back. So it started that way. And now I've realized myself, I'm a bit mature in the brain. So I one time I asked her, and do you really feel like I'm helping you? And she told me, you are helping me before my son passed, but now I don't see your help. But now I stayed. When I was in class 5, the story is going to an extra mile that we are now quarreling. So one of the fine days, her husband came home in the evening, and she explained to her how bad I am, and I was listening at the door. I'm getting the story. She's explaining how rude I am, how one time I even wanted to beat her. And these things, to me, is lie. Unfortunately, coincident, in the next 2 days, my mom came to visit her. So when I saw my mom, I was not able to express myself to her. I started crying, and she's like, what's not happening here? And now my aunt is so good to me, to an extent that even ikisema she mistreat me, I'll not be believed by my mom. So I was not able to express the feeling. My mom stayed for a week and then she went. I went back to my real life of struggling. If, for example, it is on a Friday, you must wake up early. I take the cows to the kettle dip, break back, then I prepare to go to school. So one of the fine days, I woke up and asked her the same question. Do you feel like I'm helping you? She replied to me, you used to help me, but now, maisha ni hivyo. Then she directed me to a certain place. I want you to go to that, how it's distant. This guy was like a tycoon within that place. He has a lot of money. I want to go to, on a Sunday, you go to Sunday school. Then after Sunday school, I want you to choose one of your friends and go to that Kamze, tell him, I want uniform. I was like, what are you telling me? To a stranger to ask for uniform. I told her it's not possible to me. She told me, no, if you are not going there, there's no uniform. And I'm going to buy uniform for my little kids there too. But for your case, you have to go for it there. So I was like, what does this really mean to me? I decided to go because she has sent me. I went and told my aunt, I told me, you buy me uniform. And this Kamze look at me to ask me, where are you coming from? I explained myself first. To an extent, she captured something about me. So that family, I saw a guy. Why is it? We look familiar to me. Look like nikaa tunafanana nini? So the guy we had gone with told me, hey, and that boy in that family look alike to you. What's not happening? So I came and start to inquire. Does it mean that there is a link between me and these people? In the middle of me inquiring and trying to ask, one of Kamze came to me. So this mom used to sell brew, this local brew. So she came 6 in the morning and knocked at my room. So I opened. Told me, is it ready? So I wondered, what is it ready? So he was inquiring about the previous day. There was a brew, so he wanted to inquire if for today is ready. I told her, I don't know. Let me wake up my aunt. She can explain it to you. So I went and told my aunt, there's somebody who is, you want a cup, and I don't know even how to do it. So she chased me away. Go, no, it is still early. I can't do it. So this Kamze told me, okay, will you allow me I stay here for a while? Then I'll have to go. So I opened the room, we stayed with her. So he was telling me the stories. I explained my origin to her. To an extent, she told me, do you know that Tycoon is your dad? Fuck, hey, what is it? What do you mean? She told me I have evidence. And even there was a conversation that was going on yesterday this Wazir used to stay in a market. And that Kamze confessed. But now, I don't know how will you approach this person. So, how will I approach it? And this uniform I had requested, it is not yet back. I went back alone again. I've come to remind you about the uniform. So she told me, okay, how much does it cost? I told him, I don't know. Me, what I want is uniform. And it is a direction from my hand. So she told me, okay, come for it on a Friday, because of Friday was a market day. So come for it on a Saturday or a Friday. So I went there. She gave me full uniform. And I came to ask my aunt, do you mean this person, who is this person to you, say that you can send me to buy for me uniform? She didn't tell me the reality. So it was we closed the school. I went home for December holiday. So I went there and I want to ask my mom. I feel like, will you have the courage? So I went to my church and asked her. I went there. I give her narrate the story to her. I went there, how it happened. So to extent, I tell her, no, that person who is at Tycoon at that place bought me uniform. So she told me, are you serious? I told her, yeah. The current uniform I'm wearing is not from my hand. Yeah. And my hand has made a call that I have even bought uniform to Amos. So my church told me, okay, don't go there again. No, yeah. She warned me, don't go there again. If your grandfather will know this, you are on fire. Don't go there again. So I came back. When I passed, you see, they are like, they want to familiarize you with a certain lineage, but now they can't tell you in reality. So I came. So I had no peace. Because even place to walk is nowhere to me, because there's something suspicious to everybody about me. So this guy, the son to this boy, was my friend because we used to go the same church. So at the same time, we were graduating now to go to this older group. So we took photos with him there's a celebration. So I preserved those photos. I didn't want even my hand to see them. I preserved them. I went with them to my church. I went back to holiday. I asked myself, hey, don't you see these two people who is who, according to you? So she told me, watu fanana. So me, I can't tell you is who, but watu fanana na ni hivyo ndio nimesema. So you go ahead with your life. So nobody is willing to tell me facts about this family and me. So this guy get attracted. No wonder she was young to me, but she was so close to me. She can even come to my hand. We play. The end of the day, she go there. So at times tell me, my dad gave me this money. Let's go to the market. We can even go and buy the same T-shirt, but money is not mine. So I stay there. When I was joining class 7, I told my hand, to hell with this place. I'm not staying here again. I want to go back to Kitale. So she told me, it's okay. And no, who will take you there? Told me at class 7, you think I don't know how to go to Kitale? I just prepared myself. She told me, okay, which fare will you use? I told her, okay, hey, if it is all about fare, I'll call home. At that time, there was one phone within the village that you can use to access. Even herself, she had no phone. So I go to that comes there and told him, I want to call home. And I don't have even the number. So I never knew even you need to have a number so that you can call to your place. She told me, go and bring your home number. So I came and searched from my hand things secretly, but I didn't manage to get one. So one of the fine days at 5 a.m., I woke up, packed my things and started the journey. Trying like I will foot. Will I make it? So I went. On my way, I don't know, God have everything. There was something like a stone. So nikagonga. Only to find it was 300 shillings imefinyiwa kwa jiwe. I like, is it serious? So I didn't even imagine like, Nataka want to pick the money. No, hapana. Is somebody around or what? So I ended up picking the money and go. So I went to the bus station. I asked, how much to Kitale? No, I know to Kitale, and I don't know even the state to my direction to home. They told me it is 150 that time. I entered these Nissans. I went home. And it is the middle of the term again. My academics totally zero. I'm not even concentrating on books. The life within where I am is not conducive. So I went home. I explained to my mom. She didn't even how I agreed there, but I explained to her. She was so harsh to me, but by the end of the day, because I'm her son, she had to accept me back home. So she told me, okay, prepare on Monday, we'll go again. I go back to the previous school I was. So I joined at that class 7. So I found my friends had matured guys know even how to read. They read smooth composition. Me, I'm there copying Gazzetti. Because I was like demoralized. So it's about this schooling. Will I catch up with these people? Because we used to be together. But because I have never stabilized my academics, for me, it was a bit challenging. But I had a teacher who was a Kiswahili teacher. She used to see me as the potential. He called me, okay, give me a storybook. I go, I read. I make my own notes from the storybook, and then I take them to her. Then she makes some correction. By the time I was supposed to join class 8, my mom told me, because you have not catch up, you need to repeat standard 7. And at that time, I'm in position 12 out of almost 90. Like, how should I repeat? And I see kuiba mtihani. But I ended up repeating. I repeated standard 7 and catch up. By the time I was doing my the shift for class 8, I was position 2. So I went to class 8. So the life of class 8, I relaxed because now I'm a genius in the class. So nobody tells me anything. Me, I argue with the teacher, especially science. We argue to an extent like if that teacher feel like these boys want to make me demoralized. So it reached a time he used to come to class, tell me, okay, I know you know these things. You can excuse us. I teach the rest. So I used to excuse the science class. One of the fine days I go to the headmaster and told him, okay, I have not been attending science classes for the last 2 weeks. And only because I ask questions. So is it a crime? So he called the teacher. The teacher told him, this guy disturbed the whole lesson. There's no learning going on. It's all about question and question. The teacher said, okay, do this. You'll be going to that class. And what I want you to do is to maintain silence. So I'm in that class. I have questions, but now because of the conditions, I can't ask. I had a crew. So I ended up inciting my crew. I'm the youngest one, but I have a crew of big boys. We want to teach this teacher a lesson. So we planned. She used to stay with teacher's quarters. So we planned well on how to teach him a lesson. So he was a drunkard, and this teacher had a septic wound. Even akikuja class, there was some sort of smell. So you knew this guy is a drunkard and she take this cheap alcohol. So we say, we will go home, we dress up, and then we come back to wait for him. Unfortunately, we went, we planned well, we came back, we waited him near the gate, entrance to the school. So he's coming back. So within a few minutes, he's there coming, staggering. We teach the teacher a lesson with Uri too, but unfortunately, she captured one of us.
So you beat him?
Yeah, we beat him thoroughly. Ile serious. So, but and that time we have worn these Marvins. There was this Marvin of Manchester. Zilikuwa zimefika. So everybody has a Marvin. So when we were beating the teacher, one of our friends disclosed himself. So he realized. So this teacher was not fully drunk. So the following day we came to school very smooth. There we are relaxing. You know, we have stories getting like, hey, unajua mwalimu wenu alipigwa. We are there, 6 of us seated. So this teacher came and called one of us. I saw you somewhere, want to interrogate. Yeah. No, we don't know, we are not us. But even we are so far from this place. So when we are out of school, it is out of school until the other day. So this teacher tried to investigate from within us. He didn't get the story. So with our stupid mind, we leak out the story to some of the students that it is us who teach this teacher this lesson. So tunataka acheze chini. Almost class 8 second term, we were suspended, the 6 of us, because of teaching this teacher a lesson. So we went home, no classes. So we used to form our own discussion. So they know me, I'm the crew, the head of the crew. I know almost everything. So we can come and hold a discussion in a certain room. We discuss mostly, so it's something like Swahili and English. So we used to discuss mathematics, science, social studies, until the time almost. So it was 2 days to rehearsal. So we forced until we were supposed to attend this party, this end party before you do the exam. So we paid the money without even the teacher knowing, through the other students, and we attended it. So when we were after attending the party, for my case, I went home. The others went to continue to drink. So we were started to be bad boys. So early morning, it was on a Friday. One of my group, I get a report that this guy has been hospitalized. Reason, she overdrink. And on the Tuesday, we have an exam. On Saturday, this guy passed on. So we are there disturbed. We are the one to give out statements because we are the group. We are the one to write these statements. So the parent to this guy was a policeman. So he was so harsh to us. So we were taken to the police custody on Saturday evening. So we write statement. Advantage is, for my case, I had gone to pick a book from my friend from the nearby primary school because we were supposed to return school books. So that's what made me to be out. But so by the end of the day, this boy had a phone, a LG phone. So he sold the phone, and that's the money he used to drink. So these guys also had something to defend themselves. So they were released. We did our exam with that disturbed mind. The whole group, everybody saying I had nightmares yesterday when we were with Cleophas. This one say I was this one. And we were doing exam. So we did it like nothing. No one even is a KCP exam. By the end of the day, I managed to pass. I had 340, the only one. And the second one in the whole class. So these other guys did not make it. We hand our exam it was on a Thursday, and then we went for a burial for this guy. So they say the class met to start this funika. So we were like, who will do it? Who will be able to pick this spade and start throwing this? Everybody is in pain. I came out as one of them and did it almost 5 times, and then I handed over it because they wanted us to do it, because they were telling us it's a religion, something like that. It will help you, not this thing to follow you, because if he was your friend and maybe you abandon him, his spirit will follow you. So at least one of you to come out to this crowd and to confess that we were with him, but it is because he overdrink, that's why he died. So these other guys were all surprised and they were not willing to go. So I went. I was given a microphone first to confess. I confessed in front of them, and then we did it. And then after there, the results were out. I have made it among the group. So these guys came and told, okay, so you have made it. You are going to a good school. What about us? We are still friends. I told them, no, what you have, you'll have to pick up yourself from there and try your best. But by the end of the day, none of them was interested to join even high school. I convinced one to join a local high school within. The rest two did not even bother because they were almost losing hope with life. So I ended up joining an extra county high school. So when I was there, life was quite different with what I was going through here because it is more strict. There is no freedom. You are there fresher. You don't know where to start. Now, these guys always believe if you join Kapenguria Boys and you fail to pass, you are so stupid. So I have joined there. Everybody in the village knows that Amos is in Kapenguria Boys. So it's a point of reference within the community. So when I was in high school, the life was so tough because we even used to believe that trees have ears. Like you can even talk something there thinking nobody is listening, but by the end of the day, the administration have the information. So in our school, we had these guys, spies. In a class, we have at least 3 to 4 spies. So you talk your nonsense there, by the end of the day, you have been open a file for you for disciplinary. So when I was in Form 3, I was expelled again because I vied for a position, captain position. And in the process of campaign, so, this tribalism came in. So being a Kalenjin and these other guys from, so the Kalenjin were many. So they saw like I will win because of this tribalism. So I was expelled when I was in Form 3. So I went and stay at home, loose up with this life. Like, so if I am out of Kapenguria Boys, which school will I join again? No? Because the life of Kapenguria Boys was the one that was supposed to shape me to be who I am now. So in the process, we were expelled, almost 7 of us. I stayed at home for 3 months. So in that school, we had something called Mbwe. So Mbwe there's a pass mark. Every class, before you go to a next class, there's that cutoff point. So the deputy was a Kisi. So one of the fine days, I dressed up and went to school with not in uniform, but I had a trouser for uniform, and inside I had a shirt, but now I have a jumper. And I already been expelled. I go there and explained to him the situation I'm going through. I've not been able to get another school, and it is third term. I'm supposed to join Form 4. So I have no any other way to go. So the only option is I was thinking, if I go, this guy he was so strict, but sometimes his mind can revisit information. And because I was smooth in class, at least I saw if I go alone, he can consider me. So I went there. I found him. He was busy. I knocked, told me, come in. I sat down. Hey, Amos, you're back to our school. So he told you we'll call you. And when be told you will be called, is like you're being told, just forget coming back. We have not called you. Have you received any call from us? I told him, no. And what has brought you to this school? I told him, no. What I've been going through is what have made me to come. So I want you to discontinue me alone, not as a group. After telling you what I was going through, so that if you get the message and discontinue me still, I'll be satisfied. So I explained to him how the politics were, what was going. They were competing with these guys from Sudanese. We used to have Sudanese in our school. They used to have to be so innocent. Even if you go to disciplinary with a Sudanese student, you'll have to go home, but he'll remain. Because they used to be so innocent. So I explained the story to the deputy. He told me, okay, do this. Do you have your uniform right now? I told him, yeah. Where? So I removed my jumper, I wear the shirt. A sweater was in a bag. But now I don't have other things like the boxes. I had taken them home. So, okay, go back to class. I'll call your parent to bring your things. And in 3 days' time, there was an exam for Form 4. And this now is so strict because you're going to Form 4 and we are almost 300 students. So it's like, where will I start? I've never catch book a lot of in life. This Mbwe will catch me now. So like, I love to fake this story. So I used to make sure if I've been given 2 papers, when the teacher is distributing papers, so I check further on the strictness of the teacher. Those madams look sure. I pick 2 copies and retain one within me. So I write what I have. If I see I have no anything to write, I don't submit that paper. So in the next few days, they'll have to call for people. They used to open a grace period of 20 minutes. You come, you bring, if you had missing mark, or you have a complaint. So I retrieve a biology paper, because I was smart in biology. I knew it's only because I've not been in class. I retrieve a biology paper, a CRE paper, and an history paper, and mathematics paper 1. I didn't submit them. 4 papers. So when I retrieve the papers, I go and do it later in the mid of the night myself. I do it. I make sure I am scoring almost 70. And then I go and to my boys, they mark it for me. The same this teacher used to mark it. They give me marks, and then when the grace period of 20 minutes is being opened, I'm the first one in the line. Missing mark, 70. I get the record. Until I make it, I had a B stand to Form 4, but with fake results. But it was not my intention because I had to survive. I had to survive to go to this Form 4 because I repeat standard 7, I had challenges I passed in class 8, but now here, this Mbwe will, there is no sympathy. Because at that time you are 400, and at the same time they want repeaters almost 100 to come and boost this class. So they must cut off at least 150 students so that this place to be taken by repeaters with a B- or B stand. Okay, what taught me during this situation when I lost my friend is this life you start as a group, but by the end of the day, you have to stand by yourself. And wherever you do as a group, don't imagine that's the end of everything. Reality comes when you are alone.
Catch more African stories in the next episode of Legally Clueless. I hope you enjoyed that story by Amos. There was moments of humor, especially around the bit when they were teaching their teacher a lesson. I know of people who have done that. I was never part and parcel of that. I promise, but I know people who did that. But there were also so many key heavy things that he was experiencing at such a young age. So many pockets of possibly traumatic experiences, right? And again, my takeaway from his story was just like, we don't really let kids be kids. We don't help them navigate certain emotional experiences they're going through. We just want them to suck it up and focus on their books. Like, which is so strange. And it actually even reminds me of, because was it yesterday, day before yesterday, I went hang out with my niece, who she may not know it yet, but she's my best friend. She's such a cool human being at only just over 8 months. She's so funny and she's laughing a lot more and she's just so headstrong and anyway, I went to hang out with her and my sisters, and then we were talking about earrings. And a lot of people like pierce their toddlers or babies' ears when they're really, really young, like when they don't even know what's happening, right? And it's always been said that you do that now when, I don't know, they wouldn't know the pain, or there's a reason for it, right? I guess. And my sister, so we were like, oh, are you going to pierce her ears? And my sister, my niece's mom, says, no, I'll wait for when she's old enough. Let her be the one to decide, like if she wants earrings or not. Let that be her decision. And I was like, that is so interesting, because most of the times parents or the adults in kids' lives, we just run things like a dictatorship, right? Where there's like little to no input from the kid, what they want. There's no waiting for them to get to an age where they can decide for themselves. And I really don't know what type of adults you're grooming or human you're grooming if you run things that way. But those are my thoughts. I hope you enjoyed the story. Remember, you can also share your story on this podcast. All you have to do is record a 1-minute story demo and send that to the Legally Clueless hotline via WhatsApp. And the hotline is +254 768 628 790. And it's also the hotline where you can, if you hear something on the podcast that you relate with, send me an audio note about it.
My name is Ken. I really just wanted to say that it's an amazing platform, because most of the issues, being talked about the show, especially the last 2 episodes, are things that I have battled. The depression part is something that I really do relate with. I've been depressed to the point of I became an insomniac. I had no support system. At least now I do have some sort of support system. If someone's out there, please, there are resources available, and it doesn't hurt to ask for help. So Adele, keep doing whatever you're doing. It's really encouraging stuff.
Thank you so much, Ken, for sending through that message. I really appreciate that you listen to the podcast, and I'm so happy that you now have a support system. I think that's something I repeat maybe on this podcast. I know for sure I've said it in interviews that, hey, the things that I have overcome, it's only because I have such a quality top tier support system. There are very few individuals who consist or like make up the support system, but I don't know where I would be without them. I really don't know where I'd be without them. So I'm so glad that you found that, because it's so important. I also want to remind you that this podcast plays on Trace Radio in Kenya every Monday and Wednesday at 12 noon and 7 p.m. and Friday at 12 noon. So to get a list of all the frequencies so you can tune in the old school way, if you're in Kenya, head over to traceradio.co.ke. That's also the space where you can stream the radio station. All right, that's it for this episode. Thanks for listening. And remember, April 9th, which is Friday, we launched the Legally Clueless video series. So in the description of this episode, there's a link to the YouTube page and the Instagram page. Episode 1 goes live on Friday. I am so nervous, but I'm also so excited. It means the podcast is growing. And yeah, I can't wait for you to check out what we've done. That's it for this episode of Legally Clueless. You can share this podcast with your friends. You can keep it for yourself. I'm not judging. Just make sure you're here next week for the next episode.